Which is better, low aim sensitivity or high aim sensitivity? This is one of the oldest debates in gaming history, and for the most part it just seems to be talking into an echo chamber, with both sides stating the same argument over and over again. People that argue for high aim sensitivity tend to argue that you need to be able to turn fast enough to shoot the person behind you, where people arguing for low aim sensitivity argue that you need to have accurate enough aim to shoot the person in front of you, and need to control the map better so that they don't get behind you to begin with. Generally, if you're just trying to talk to someone in theorycraft, this doesn't really go anywhere. But when you start actually looking at results, it's pretty clear what ends up happening. When it comes to pro gaming events, say professional Call of Duty or the pro Halo circuit, lower sensitivity is what usually is preferred by vast majority of these players. One example alone is, say if you watch professional Call of Duty, you probably know who someone called Scumpy is. In the later Call of Duty games, he plays on 5 sensitivity. Keep in mind, in the later Call of Duty games, medium is 4. So 4 is not really that fast, 5 is just one step above that. So he definitely is not playing on high sensitivity. And when it comes to the older Call of Duty games, he plays on 3, where 2 is medium. Keep in mind, 2 being medium in the old games feels very similar to somewhere between, I would say like 3.5 in the later Call of Duty games. That's what it feels like to me. One of my biggest problems about older Call of Duty games, and this is also true for Black Ops, is that 2 sensitivity is too slow, and 3 is too quick. I'm somewhere in between those, and it drives me insane. But when it comes to Black Ops 2 and later, 4 being medium feels really good to me. So 4 is obviously a little bit faster than the usual medium sensitivities in the later games. But I did feel that there was way too much of a jump between 2 and 3 in the later games, or the earlier games, like Call of Duty 4. But back on topic, why is it better though? Why is low aiming sensitivity better? You can't turn that fast, so why would I want to use it? Well, turning fast is a detriment when you're trying to aim, especially at long range. You need to be consistent, you need to be able to hit those shots at range. And if people are getting behind you, well then your problem is not your aim, at all. You're losing the mental aspect of the game. You don't know where your enemies are on the map, and you don't know where you're going. When you're playing a shooter, you need to know where they're going to be moving on the map. You need to be able to predict their movements. If they get the drop on you, especially in a game with fast kill times, they've really already won. Being able to spin and turn quickly is likely not going to make you win in that situation, no matter how fast you can turn around and look. But there's something more I wanted to bring up that a lot of people tend to look over, and that is how you aim. Now this is even more of a deal when it comes to Halo 5, because Halo 5 added in a total curveball to aiming sensitivity. They added in the ability to change your acceleration. You have an extra option in the aiming. Acceleration between 1 to 5. Every single setting feels different, but this does not change your aiming sensitivity. So essentially, with every single setting you have, you put it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you have 10 different sensitivities within those options. So it takes a lot of tinkering to really get your aiming sensitivity down. If anyone has struggled with aiming Halo 5's aiming, and you usually prefer on low sensitivity in the previous games, I usually played on 2. When it comes to Halo 1 through 4, 2 felt good to me. But in Halo 5, I could not get it down. So I mentioned this in a previous video, but the settings I'm running with now that feel pretty good to me. After a lot of tinkering, I think I finally figured it out. Acceleration is 1, and my aiming sensitivity, vertical and horizontal, are both 3.5. This feels more like 2 in the older games to me. It feels actually pretty good. Still not as good as like Halo Combat Evolved does, but that feels nice. But the point I was originally getting to here was the way you aim is not the same for everyone. You know, I've actually had people leaving comments that are things along the lines of, dude, you suck at this game, you're never going to be good if you play on a low sensitivity, you need to raise your sensitivity. And I always just laugh because it's like, alright, well I guess Scumpy sucks, I guess the entire competitive community sucks. You know, it's obvious that people don't really know what they're doing when they're playing on that high of a sensitivity. But the people that play on higher sensitivities also most likely do not aim the way I do. What do I mean by that? Well, when I aim on console games, I don't have a tendency of just making minute changes with the analog stick. I don't slowly push it down or do any of that. I tend to mash the analog stick to the side circle plastic, otherwise known as pegging. That is what I do. And there's nothing inherently wrong with this. Either you do this or you do the other way where you just make minute changes. And it's simply natural one way or the other to you. and that's how it is. And generally, if you're one of those people that likes to have slow, minute changes with the analog stick, you're most likely going to want a slightly higher aiming sensitivity. Now, not 10, that's completely stupid, but if 4 is medium, you might want 5, or even 6 if you're really going insane. But if you're like me, you like to mash the analog stick, medium is probably going to feel natural to you, or maybe even one step below that. Which is what I found out with Halo, with 3 being medium, I always put it on 2 because that felt great to me because I mashed the analog stick. So that's my rant on aiming sensitivity. I've gotten a lot of comments about this, like what sensitivity I run with in games and whatnot, but keep in mind, there is nothing wrong with low sensitivity. If anything, it is better. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.